Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Four College Sports Podcast. This is the first podcast that we'll be doing on the Spreaker app, and it will be transported to other apps so we can get a national audience going, which is something we're hoping to get to do. So let's get into things. Let's start with Michigan State basketball. This week they had a very good week, defeated a great Northwestern team and lost to Wisconsin. So what are your reactions?
Obviously, everyone expected them to be Northwestern. Northwestern's the worst team in the Big Ten, and but that's an absolutely embarrassing loss for Wisconsin. Wisconsin, who one of the top players was suspended, and their second leading scorer decided to lead the team, and literally their next game they beat Michigan State. So that's absolutely embarrassing for Michigan State. They have a big game coming up against Penn State, and then the Michigan game, so we'll see how they bounce back. But they've kind of been they've been barely hanging on here throughout the season. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm with Luke. An expected win against Northwestern. That's not a really good team. But, I'll give them some credit. Wisconsin's a tough place to play. They always come out ready. But, again, like Luke said, two of their top guys were out. One suspended and one just left. So, Michigan State did not shoot well in the first half. They made it a game in the second half. They only lost by one. But they're doing some things, you want to believe in them. They'll get a couple big wins, and then they lose a game like Wisconsin, and you got to kind of pull back your expectations a little bit. And Xavier Tillman was absolutely awful in that game. He was like 2 for 8 on layups. So you need some guys to step up besides Winston to be consistent.
Yeah, Michigan State. I've been saying it for a while. Ever since the Purdue game, you can't trust them on the road. You just can't do it. They go to Purdue, they lose by 30. They go on the road against a really bad Indiana team, they lose. It's a good win at Minnesota, but the other road game is Wisconsin, who barely had enough. Barely had players to put a team on the court with what happened this week with them. Mike, I don't know if I've heard it. Do they still have their basketball program, Michigan State, after this loss?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they cut the funding for it. Really embarrassing loss to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Michigan State this year has been like a used car salesman. Just can't trust them.
Yeah, I agree. You look at Tillman, and I don't want to hear anything about Tillman the rest of the year from Mike, because I've heard it all year about how great Tillman is. And then his downfall began when he missed a wide-open layup to tie the game late against Indiana. And then absolutely was one of the worst games I've ever seen a college basketball player play this weekend against Wisconsin. A shameful performance from Michigan State. And then Mike has the unmitigated gall to sit here and tell me that Michigan State is still the best team in the Big Ten, which is one of the most embarrassing takes anybody has ever made, ever.
Yeah, they're only tied for first place. It's not like they're number one in the league or anything.
They're 1-3 on the road in the Big Ten.
No, they're 2-3 actually.
No, Northwestern does not count. They're 1-3 on the road.
Northwestern doesn't count. Well, it should have counted for Purdue. They almost lost to Northwestern. Maryland was down 14 at Northwestern. Everybody's picking Maryland to win the league now. Listen, these type of feel-good home games happen, and definitely happened with Wisconsin.
I'd like to say something. Every time that Michigan State loses, you can pull out of a hat the excuse that Mike uses, because it's the same or it's either a feel-good home game or it's impossible to win there. You can pull out of the hat. Flip a coin, whatever.
Is it not true? Is it not true? You're telling me that wasn't a feel-good home game?
In fact, let me pull this nickel out of my pocket, flip it, to decide what excuse you're going to use the next time Michigan State loses on the road.
So what is it? What is my next excuse going to be?
Let's see. Oh, and it's tails, which means next week at Michigan, if they lose, it'll be a feel-good home game for Michigan.
No, I use that excuse this week. I can't use 2 straight excuses.
Oh, I think you've done that before
No.
because they lost at Purdue. They lost to Purdue, and it was impossible to win there. They
Purdue.
Lost to Indiana, and it was also impossible to win there.
Well, okay. Purdue was a combination of a feel-good home game and impossible to win there, and Indiana was just impossible to win there. So that was the difference there.
Feel-good home game.
What?
Wisconsin was just a feel-good home game.
Yeah, it was just a feel-good home game. I mean, you saw the way they shot the ball early in the game. They couldn't miss, especially in the first half. In the second half, they weren't as good. They weren't as efficient from the field. And that's how Michigan State kind of got back into it. They kind of settled for jump shots. But this goes back to coaching. I mean, Greg Gard's a great coach. I think we all know this. He's a great coach. He coaches them up, and that was a win they had to have, coming off 2 guys. One guy dirty play against Iowa, and then another guy decides he doesn't even want to be part of the program. This is a statement win for Wisconsin, and Greg Gard is going to be a great coach for years to come. He's going to bring Wisconsin to places not even Bo Ryan could have taken them. Wisconsin.
All right. Okay.
Well, wait, Mike. You said
we had to be more professional on this platform. But what was that take?
What? I mean, Greg Gard's a great coach. I don't know what's so controversial about it.
Wait.
Yeah, he's not Bo Ryan. Let's calm down.
You just said Greg Gard was great. Isn't the reason that the guy left? He left because of Greg Gard.
What? Well, no, it wasn't because of Greg Gard. It's because of the system. He didn't feel like the system fit him, which is fair.
Yeah, who runs the system, though?
The system is run by the University of Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin's one of those programs where they are the program. Any coach that goes in there is going to run that same program for both football and basketball. But anyway, that was a good win for Wisconsin. Tough loss for Michigan State. Xavier Tillman, worst game of his career. No doubt about it. The layup part kind of got in his head late. So we got to bounce back this week. Got to go 2-0 this week. And then probably lose at Illinois. But this is a big week. Got to come out and win on Tuesday. It's a green out on Tuesday. Be a big game. And then Saturday's the big one. That's your rivalry game. Got to win that one. Okay. Well, let's move on to the University of Michigan. Let me give them a round of applause for a second here for finally winning the game. Congratulations to the University of Michigan as they beat Nebraska and a Rutgers team that just didn't have it. So what are your reactions on Michigan's 2 wins?
The Nebraska wins are like Michigan State beating Northwestern. Not a great win, nothing to brag about, but it's a win you gotta have. It's a win that keeps you in it, especially a team like Michigan fighting at the bottom to try to get back in. Michigan, Ohio State both in the same position, trying to fight back in, try to get up towards that top 5 or 6 in the Big Ten, try to get decent seeding for the tournament. But then that Rutgers win's a great win. Obviously, it was it a neutral site game or was it a home game?
It's a home game for Michigan. Home game for Michigan.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, right.
Well, listen, that's on your AD for scheduling it.
I understand that Madison Square Garden, but was it technically a
It was
home
like
game?
80-20 Rutgers thing.
Okay, I understand that, but because Rutgers obviously is literally impossible to beat this season at the rack. They're 15-0, so but they got them at MSG, and that's a really good win against Rutgers. Rutgers is Rutgers. They just play with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and they play off the fans at the rack. And obviously, their away record shows that they struggle to go away. But it's still a great win against the team that's 16-6 at the top of the Big Ten, and it was a win Michigan desperately needed to have to keep itself in the mix. Nebraska, easy win. Even though they were shorthanded, no Xavier Simpson, but again, it's a quality win on the road. Not really, actually. Nebraska's not that good. But like Luke said, it was a game you had to have. have on a losing streak like that. I don't care who you're playing. Then the quote-unquote neutral site game, which was a stone's throw.
It's actually a quote-unquote home game for Michigan.
Yes, technically speaking, it was a home game. Yeah, not really a home game. Anyways, it was a good win. Brandon Johns looked phenomenal. He was shooting the ball really well, especially in the first half.
Couple big plays from Eli Brooks, too.
Yeah, no, I saw him brick a multitude of open threes.
He made a big shot late in the game.
Yeah, he made one big shot.
Doesn't he wear number 65?
Yeah.
Yeah, no good guard has ever worn a number over.
No good player is
25.
Yeah, no.
Except for Eli Brooks.
Yeah, no, he was good in the Nebraska game. I'll give him that. Again, it's Nebraska though. But yeah, I was impressed with Johns. Their defense played well, and every time Rutgers went on the little run, they had an answer, which is good to see, especially in the last month or so. They haven't had that, and I know we've talked a lot about missing a finisher or a guy to put the game away. So that was good to see.
Yeah, Nebraska, a little shorthanded in this game. No Simpson. I already had my rant on him last week. No Livers. Let's talk a little bit about Livers. Still technically day-to-day. If he can play Tuesday, great, but they should be able to beat Ohio State at home without him. Hopefully he's back for next weekend. We'll see. But anyways, the Nebraska game, good to finally get a win on the road. Eli Brooks, great game. Wagner, great game. Johns, great game. That's 2 games in a row for Brandon Johns. So nice job there. You can see it a little bit. They really only played one guy off the bench in this game, but they were a little shorthanded. But then you go to the Rutgers game, which was a statement win for the Michigan Wolverines. Then they needed one.
You got to defend home court. Nothing about a statement there.
And they really needed this win. And Mike, can you click that round of applause button for Juwan Howard, please?
Yeah, right.
Let's go. I was really impressed with the way Juwan Howard managed this game. Really only played 5 guys. The highest up the bench was Austin Davis, and the next was 6. Davis was 12. He really didn't play that much, especially in the second half. But Julius only had 6 minutes. He was the next guy. He really only played 5 guys. He buckled down and played. He played the guys that he knew were going to give him the best chance to win most of this game because he knew they needed to have this game. Johns, great game. Teskey was pretty good. Simpson, whatever, he was fine. Wagner and Brooks did their job. They did what they needed to do. Brooks made a big shot down the stretch. Alex is a big Brooks fan. So really good week for Michigan, and a week they desperately needed to have. And they got, 2 rivalries this week. Should be able to beat Ohio State at home. And they're going to get blown out next weekend, but that's beside the point. They just got to win on Tuesday, and we'll be okay.
Chris, I heard that home game for Michigan is being moved to Cincinnati for Ohio State.
Oh yeah, probably.
Before I start talking about Michigan, let me just point out that Chris said Livers should have been benched earlier in the year, and now he makes all these excuses about Livers.
I can also point something out that you could probably go down every single name on any roster of any team I've ever rooted for, and you can probably point out a spot where I've said they can be benched. Because that's what I say about everybody on every team I root for.
No, you said he shouldn't even be in the starting lineup. That's unbelievable. One of the best players in the Big Ten, and you said he shouldn't even be playing. That's ridiculous.
I said that for about 30 seconds. Then he went on a run to start the second half. I say that about everybody.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay, so Michigan, let me just do that again. Yeah, congratulations. Michigan, what? Wow, finally. What has it been, like a month since they won a basketball game? Good win at Nebraska.
UNC curse, Mike. Ohio State and Michigan have both been hit by the UNC curse.
Right. Maybe. Well, that might have been true. We'll see if it's wearing off now. But listen, whenever you play without Simpson handicaps you so bad that when he's not on the floor, he makes you a lot better.
That's why they beat Rutgers on the road with him.
It was a home game. It was a home game for Michigan. You barely beat Rutgers at home. Nothing to be proud of there. Rutgers, Geo Baker, he didn't have it. Rutgers didn't shoot well, played well on the defensive end. Michigan, once again, couldn't really, at least late in the game, they couldn't put it away, and then Rutgers had a chance. They couldn't get it done, and then Michigan finally made their free throws at the end. So congratulations there. You finally made your free throws. Simpson, I still think he should go to that side thing he did a couple years ago because really isn't working.
Hook shot to the free throw line.
Yeah, you should try the baby hook at the free throw line. See how it works. Anyways, listen, Michigan is just, I don't know how to feel about them. I mean, they're a top 25 team, no doubt, but how far are they going to get in the tournament? That's the question. I think just on coaching alone, I think they'll get upset early. So, I mean, it was a pretty decent win, but again, this is the big week for Michigan. You got to go 2-0 if you're a Michigan fan. Juwan Howard's got to prove that he can beat his rivals. All right. The Ohio State Buckeyes, they defeated the Indiana Hoosiers on Saturday. Pretty handily, actually. Good win for Chris Holtmann and company. What are your reactions on this win?
This was a need-to-win game. Coming off the Northwestern win, I watched the game, and I felt like I wouldn't say we dominated the game, but we were out ahead the whole time by about 8 to 10 points. And I felt like you just always felt like we were going to win, and that was a big game. That's the game we needed to have against a solid Indiana team. Get a little win streak going. Get some momentum back. Carrying into this next week where we have both Michigan and Wisconsin. So that was a huge win, and it keeps us in the running here in the Big Ten to try to move up a few spots to get at least a single bye.
So Luke said Indiana was solid, not a good team. He said they're solid.
They're not a solid team. They're a bad basketball team.
They're a tournament team.
No, definitely not.
They're a solid team.
No.
But he said they're a good team.
Not until Michigan plays them are they a good team.
No, because they're a good team. They're scoring 73 points a game and they're letting up 66 points a game.
They're terrible.
Well, they're shooting 45% from the field, so they're a solid team. They're awful. They're not a team I want to come up against in the Big Ten tournament. That's for sure.
They're the singles. I'd rather play them than any other team except Northwestern, Nebraska.
No, I want to play every other team in the Big Ten over them.
I'd rather play Illinois than play Indiana.
I'd rather play the 1975 Indiana Hoosiers over this Indiana team.
Okay. No, I would rather play Illinois than play Indiana. I'm serious.
I'm with Luke. The margin of victory felt like it should have been much greater than the score indicated. The double-double, 15 and 11. They really played solidly. Know where their scoring is going to come down the stretch. And
Here's my problem with this Ohio State team. This is the number one issue that I've been pursuing this year. Is that Caleb Weston's your number one guy, but after that, I have no idea who's the number two guy.
Yeah, you know why?
Justin Arns.
Why? Because C.J. Jackson left.
Oh yeah, that's why. No, it's just the problem is you have Caleb Weston, and then you have a group of guys who are all good, solid players. I don't know who you have. Dwayne Washington, solid player. You have Andre Weston, solid player. You have Luther Muhammad, solid player. Justin Arns, giving solid minutes. Like, I don't know who is that guy. I don't know if we have that guy. That's been the main problem. Even
Weston closing is down for you.
AJ Walker, solid guy, solid player. But he's not like other than Weston. Like, if you can take Weston out of the equation, I don't know who steps up.
guy like Caleb Weston closing a game for you?
What?
Weston
Yeah,
closing a game?
and that's also a pump too. It's hard to have a big guy be your go-to guy.
In a lot of ways like that. They just don't have a guy to finish a game for you if it's close.
Yeah, you don't have a guy you can just give the ball to, and you know it's gonna create some space to make a shot. They just don't have. They have Caleb Weston, but you come to an end of the game, you can't really rely on a big guy to win you the game. Okay. Ohio State, not much to see here. Beating a bad team at home, congratulations. Not much to see. I want to know what Archie Miller was thinking in this game. A phenomenal game plan from a guy Mike was praising last week. Great job getting his best player 6 shots in this game. Just a phenomenal job. Really good coaching. Chris Holtman's defense.
Chris, they can't shoot. What player on their team is going to make a shot for Indiana?
Their best player, Trace Jackson Davis.
He doesn't shoot. He's under the basket all the time. He's a post guy.
6 shots.
He's not their best player either. Devontae Smith's their best player.
No.
Yes, and then Danny Green's brother.
Okay, there's no Justin Smith?
Yeah, Justin Smith, my bad. Devontae Green was the guy I was thinking of.
Okay, Trace Jackson Davis is their best player. He got 6 shots in this game. Great job by Archie Miller there. Beautiful coaching. Ohio State don't scare me at all. I don't think it's going to be Michigan this week. Just not a good win. You beat bad teams at home. It's an embarrassing win. It really is. Terrible win.
Just like Michigan's win at home against Rutgers. Barely beat them.
Yeah, you talk about flipping a coin and knowing exactly what Mike's going to say. I could flip a coin and all you're going to say, oh, that's an embarrassing win. Oh, no excuses. Can't win close at home. Yep. At least I own it. So, at least I own it.
I don't even know why we put him on the podcast. We know what he's going to say all the time.
Oh, I can't wait to get some of the intriguing scores. I have a lot to say about that. Mike, you know how you have that clip of you can do just the applause?
Yeah.
Just get Chris saying the only 3 things he ever says on the podcast, and we can just hit him every once in a while, so it seems like he's here.
That's a great point.
I have nothing else to say about this meaningless game between 2 bad teams.
Okay.
Yeah, Ohio State's a bad team until we win on Wednesday. Exactly.
Listen, I'll get to Ohio State in a second, but I don't understand the Archie Miller hate. His teams have gotten better every year. They are getting incrementally better. His first year, they missed the tournament, weren't really a factor in the Big Ten. Last year, they missed the tournament again, made the NIT. They're going to make the tournament this year. So each year, his teams have gotten better. So
They're not going to make the tournament this year.
I would expect Indiana to continue to gradually get better as a program. And next year, they will be a 6, 7, 8 seed. This year, they'll barely make it 10, 11. But they're going to get in, no doubt about it. Now for Ohio State, this was the game they had to have, and they did a very nice job on both sides of the ball. Indiana hit another miracle shot at the end of the half. Thought, maybe Indiana could come back. They couldn't do it. So Ohio State, they're in a pretty decent spot right now. They still got that Kentucky win. They still got some. The UNC win doesn't mean anything. Still got the Villanova win in their back pocket, and they're going to have plenty more opportunities down the road to win some big games on the road, like at Wisconsin, at Michigan this week. If they win one of those games, they're getting close to a tournament lock. Getting pretty close. All right. The Big Ten scoreboard. Iowa defeated Wisconsin. Rutgers defeated Purdue. Penn State defeated Indiana. Illinois defeated Minnesota. Maryland over Iowa. Penn State over Nebraska. And Purdue over Northwestern. What are your reactions on these games?
There's one more. More from yesterday, Mike.
Iowa defeated Illinois yesterday.
Illinois loses. So Illinois, this is my hot take. Illinois will fall off and won't be a top 6 seed in the Big Ten tournament by the end of the year. That's my hot take.
I don't see any evidence to say that that's correct. They have the talent, and they have a good coach. So
Here's my problem. They have a single-digit win over Minnesota, single-digit win over Michigan, single-digit win at home on the road. They have a road at Michigan. I don't care. Single-digit win at home against Northwestern. Single-digit win at home against.
That's a rivalry.
Then they barely beat Wisconsin, and then if you look at their team stats, there's nothing stands out.
They got Io.
They can score, but they cannot stop anybody. They're 7th in the Big Ten in points per game.
So they're top. They're middle of the pack. Okay.
Yeah.
They can't stop anybody.
They can shoot the ball, but use 3-point percentage is at 40%. That's middle
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah. Wait, no. You have no argument. Their 3-point percentage is second to last in the Big Ten at 31%. They're allowing teams to shoot better from 3 than they're shooting. Their turnover 3-point percentage is 40%. They're turning the ball over at a rate I've never seen before. Their turnover margin is negative. They're allowing more turnovers than they're getting.
Okay, Michigan State probably has a -1 too.
And then their assisted turnover rate is bottom of the Big Ten. They just can't keep it up. I'm telling you.
That's a fair point.
They're going to fall off at the end of the year because they have one of the toughest schedules coming up at the end of the year too. They have to play Maryland, Michigan State, Rutgers at Rutgers. They have to go to Penn State. Plus they have Ohio State and Iowa to finish the year. Ohio State is not tough, but other than that, at Ohio State doesn't matter.
Yeah, here's what I will say. Illinois, they don't pass the ball a lot. They have a lot of 4 out of the 5 guys in their starting lineup. They're just one-on-one guys. Frazier, Io DeSumo, the 2 big guys. They have Kipper Nichols also. He can shoot. He's the only consistent 3-point shooter on the team. So I could see how they might fall off. And early in the year, they did struggle. They lost to Miami. They lost to Arizona. So yeah, it's possible, but right now they're playing well.
It's going to happen. Alex, what do you have to say about the Big Ten scoreboard?
What about Illinois? I mean, they have Brad Underwood, who's led multiple shorthanded teams in terms of talent. Matters at Stephen F. Austin.
More like Brad's underachieving.
Single talented basketball player that's like, I want to go to Illinois.
Illinois has a rich basketball tradition.
I can't name one player that's ever gone to Illinois, to be honest with you.
Really?
For ESPN to do the National Signing Day, and a top 100 recruit goes to Illinois or Duke or Kansas or something like that. That just doesn't happen.
I wonder why. They're also only 6 deep. They only have 6 guys that are over 16 minutes a game. So does every team. No, they have no depth.
No, Izzo plays 20 guys.
You mentioned some of their wins. I mean, if you look at some of their losses, I mean, Michigan State blew them out. They lost to Miami. I mean, these aren't good teams that they're losing. They lost to crappy Maryland. Granted, that was only by 1, but still. They lost to Missouri.
Missouri's a good team.
That's a good teams. Point wins, but I mean, if you look at some of the losses, I think it's a lot more telling. Record's a little misleading.
Actually, according to Mike, losses don't matter.
No, I didn't say that.
Hey, Dad.
I said quality wins mean more than losses.
No. Listen, they lost to Arizona and Miami in the preseason. Then they went to big. I don't see how they. And they lost to Missouri. I know Missouri has whatever effect Chris thinks they have from they're getting the bounces to go their way right now. Obviously, some teams have it, and Illinois might have it this year. I just don't think they can sustain it.
More time.
All right, I'm just going to go down the list here. Thrilling win for Iowa. How about those Hawks? Big win for Iowa.
Get off of Iowa.
Caw, yes. Mike, play that one. Play the
I don't have that one.
Oh,
I have a school bell though.
a what?
I don't
Do you have a what?
I have a bell.
Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. Ding, ding. Rutgers solid win over Purdue. Penn State, that's an embarrassing win. Whenever you beat Indiana, it's embarrassing.
How about that Rutgers is 15-0 at home, and they're 16-6 overall. That means they're a 1-6 and they don't play the rest.
I'm saying how the Raptors are the toughest place to play. Turning out to be true.
They can't play that.
Okay, Illinois, solid win against Minnesota. We all know Minnesota's a good team. Maryland, that's a great win. Whenever you beat Iowa, that should bump you up at least 10 spots in the new rankings. Whenever you beat such a talented team like that with such a great coach. Yeah, caw. Penn State, two embarrassing wins for Penn State this week. Embarrassing win for Purdue over Northwestern, and wow. The win of the week, the thrilling win of the week for those Hawkeyes over Illinois. Caw. What a win for Iowa. What a team. So many great players. Obviously, you get the first team guys like Garza and McCaffrey. But you get some of these other guys here. Toussaint's a great player. Does a lot for the team. And Frederick has really come out of nowhere. And Wieskamp, obviously, I know Alex likes Wieskamp. You look at Connor McCaffrey, though.
On the description, didn't you list Chris as a Michigan fan?
Yes.
What sound does
You should have put it as an Iowa.
No one knows.
This is getting
Everyone
ridiculous.
knows that a Hawkeye goes to Tom.
Connor McCaffrey, 9 points, 7 assists. That is first team, all Big Ten material right there. Punching with the team right now.
That sounds like Austin Brown material to me, actually.
Son's over him.
Okay, that's all I can say.
I'm over him.
Okay, shout out to Northwestern fans. Okay, now let me get into this. So, I think there are a couple teams that have separated themselves at the top. You got your Michigan States, you got your Iowas, you got your Marylands, and Illinois, I think, is up there too. So I think there's 4 teams that could compete to win the league this year. Michigan State, I think, is still a favorite. I think Maryland has a chance too. I mean, Maryland's probably got the second best chance. You can't trust Iowa. You just can't do it. They always fall off at the end of the year. Even though they play well early, they always fall off. And then Illinois is unproven. You don't know what you're going to see from Illinois. But very interesting week in the Big Ten world. I mean, you kind of went back to more road teams winning once again. Usually last week a lot of road teams were winning, but this week a lot of home teams got it done. We'll see if that changes next week.
Yeah, and like Mike said, that was all the Northwestern fans.
Okay. Big Ten power rankings. Instead of everybody listing out their rankings, let's just talk about who we think is going to win the league this year and why.
Who do I think is going to win the league? Like the regular season?
Sure. I don't. Whatever you want. The midway point season. I don't care what you want. What you say.
I think Michigan State, just because I don't have a ton of confidence in them, but they're the only team I have. They're the team I have the most confidence in, with Izzo and Cassius Winston leading the way. I think Michigan State's going to win the Big Ten regular season by I don't think I like Michigan State because I just trust Izzo and Winston. I don't trust Mark Turgeon, the Sturgeon, down at Maryland. I don't think Rutgers hasn't shown that they can win on the road. I think Illinois is going to fall off. And Iowa's interesting, but I just don't know if they have the total firepower to take over Michigan State. And I do think Michigan State has a favorable schedule coming down the road.
What?
Well, they have to play Maryland twice in Iowa, and other than that, they have a pretty
Illinois.
That's an easy game. Obviously a rivalry game at Michigan, but it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. They play Penn State twice, who they should be able to beat. They play Ohio State at home, Maryland twice. Everyone knows Mark Turgeon, the Sturgeon, will choke those games away.
You mean Big Bird?
So
they call him Big.
Michigan State.
They call him Big Bird because of his big
Michigan
beak.
State will win the Big Ten tournament. I don't know who. That's going to be an absolute. That's just going to be chaos. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Big Ten tournament's going to be a shot in the dark. It's leading in the rankings in terms of.
I think the Big Ten should maximize the amount of teams that get in the tournament and let Northwestern win the Big Ten tournament.
14 teams in for the Big Ten.
I don't know. Find a way to somehow get Nebraska in too. Give Nebraska some free wins. Have them win out. Maybe that'll be enough.
Have Nebraska and Northwestern somehow play in the championship and tie. Say, oh, look, they won't have to go. Tell the MEAC that they lost the team this year.
I'm with Luke. I got Michigan State. On the pass, I don't trust Fran McCaffrey. I don't think they have the talent.
Ridiculous.
Good in years. And just aren't there. So, down the stretch, and offense record right now, besides a couple bumps in the road, but predictable. A couple losses like that aren't really going to be at the years ago. So.
I think Maryland's going to win the league in the regular season because it's the regular season and it's Maryland. But it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Regular season.
Regular season Maryland goes 12-8 every year.
Trust Turgeon, the Sturgeon, in any big game?
No, but he doesn't have to win any big games because there'll be enough losses on the table for other teams.
Because they don't win road games.
I know. Actually, they did win at Indiana and Northwestern. So, I think.
Oh, really? Says that's the guy who says that those games don't count.
10 minutes ago, you were saying Indiana's not a good team.
All right, so we're going to move on. We're pretending that I didn't say
Chris
that.
literally said Northwestern on the road is not a road game.
No, we're going to pretend those words didn't come out of my mouth. We're going to move on.
You were just saying Indiana's not a good team.
They aren't. As I was saying,
you just said that it's a good win.
As I was saying, the regular season doesn't matter. As we know, I'm a Big Ten tournament guy. That's all that matters. And clearly,
Chris is all about the flashy lights, not about the hard work grinding it out. That's why.
Exactly.
Here's the thing: easy pick for the Big Ten tournament. Got to go with Iowa. Teams like Iowa.
No, Minnesota. They have a car. Minnesota has a car.
Teams like Iowa always win the tournament. You can shoot the ball really well. They got a defensive guru and head coach. They do a lot of things well on the court. You got a couple distributors that play guard, Toussaint and McCaffrey. They got the best player in the conference with Garza. So, it's an obvious pick, Iowa, to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, well, Luka Garza wasn't number one pick overall like Caleb Weston was.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Okay. I already talked about the regular season. I'll go to the Big Ten tournament. Okay, no way in heck Iowa has a shot. They choke in this tournament every year. They got upset by somebody last year. I think it was Nebraska beat them. The Tim Miles Nebraska team. That's embarrassing. That's a joke. You know how I say that Mark Turgeon, he just never shows up on the road? Well, Fran McCaffrey does show up down the stretch. He just gets ejected before every game starts. That's why his teams don't play well down the stretch. So Iowa's going to fall apart. They're going to go be 9-11, maybe 11-9 in conference play. And they will lose in the first round of the tournament, be an 8 or 9 seed in the tournament, maybe win the first game, give the 1 seed a scare, and then get eliminated from the tournament. It happens every year with them. And if it doesn't happen, then they just don't even make the tournament at all. There's no in between. They're either an 8 or 9 seed, or they don't make it at all. So, listen, Iowa, they're okay. They are one of the best November teams in the country. They just every year they're just amazing in November and December. But what?
It's January.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's January and they fall apart. This is about the time the Iowa choke starts.
It's February. It's not even January. It's February. They're still playing well.
Yeah, there's a month. There's still a month left in the season.
You know what comes after February, right?
Izzo.
Izzo.
I need to get some Tom Izzo sound bites on this thing. All right. By the way, I'll take give me Penn State. I like Patrick Chambers to win the Big Ten tournament.
All right, okay. Somebody record that right now. That's embarrassing.
Well, I'm a big Pat Chambers guy. I used to not like him, but man, that program is at peak. It is at its peak right now. So I got to give him credit.
Pat Chambers. That might be the first time Pat Chambers and big has ever been used in the same sentence.
Listen, whatever. Okay, intriguing results. Skip over all the Big East games. Virginia.
No, read them off. They're good games. I didn't put any bad ones on there. Come on.
Virginia over Florida State. The weirdest game of the season easily. Texas Tech over West Virginia. That game was in the 80s, which is the last score I would expect from that. We're going to skip over UCLA over Colorado. That's not even an upset. Colorado's not good. Xavier over Seton Hall, upset there. Creighton over Villanova. Creighton might be better than Villanova. I don't think Villanova's that good, to be honest.
All right.
Providence over Butler. Another game that's not an upset. Butler's not good at all. And Oregon proving why the Pac-12 should get 0 teams in the tournament, losing to Stanford. And Auburn beating Kentucky.
Tell the MEACs are getting their team back.
Exactly. Okay, what are your reactions on this game, or on these games?
I thought that Virginia-Florida State game was interesting. That's a good one for Virginia. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Nope. I've been saying since the beginning of the year, Florida State's a really good team. Anytime Virginia wins, it's embarrassing. Yep, exactly. But how about Boston College sneaking up there in the ACC? They're 6th in the ACC right now, and I'm just telling you, watch out. They could sneak up onto the bubble here in a couple weeks. Don't you laugh at me now? But they're gonna have it. If they can make a little run in the ACC tournament, they're gonna have a shot at the NCAA tournament. Instead of Izzo, they're gonna read Jim Christian. Alex?
Yeah, I think I said this last year. I picked Leonard Hamilton as one of the best coaches in the country, and I think that's coming to fruition right now. Even though that's not a bad loss. Virginia,
an awful loss.
Virginia's 14-6 right now in the ACC, and they have the best defense in the country. So, and who's out Virginia coming up this week. And I know they got Duke coming up at the end of the season. I think win it and then appreciate how awful North Carolina is. I mean, worst North Carolina teams.
Yeah, well, if before the year I told you Boston College was going to be a top 6 team in the ACC and UNC was going to be a bottom 4 team,
He would win in Chapel Hill.
yeah, I would have been crucified.
Well, I mean, Ohio State won there, so it's not too difficult to win.
I'm just saying,
Conference.
before the season, if I told you that, no one would believe me.
Big East is kind of like Michigan and Ohio State in terms of teams. They have some solid teams, but they don't really have a team that's great.
Okay, I'd say they have some teams that are better than Michigan and Ohio State. Let's relax.
Well, Louisville.
If Ohio State were in the Big East, they would probably be where Villanova and Creighton are.
That's exactly true. And
Oh my gosh!
put Louisville in the Big Ten.
State beat Villanova by 20.
Put Louisville in the Big Ten. They're flirting with Nebraska and Northwestern at the bottom of the barrel.
All right, I'm going. Okay, I'm gonna tell you to say now.
Chris was in love with DePaul and had me up DePaul. They're 1-8 conference.
Listen, I will get to that. I'll be giving you my Big East breakdown here in a second.
All right, we're moving on because we're not the Big East podcast.
No, here we go. I'm going through these games. Virginia, that was an embarrassing win. The ACC is a joke. Texas Tech, West Virginia, 2 bad teams. Nothing to see there. UCLA.
They really put good games on there. Why'd you put that on there if it's 2 bad teams?
Well, West Virginia was ranked, so. Colorado still ranked this week. I'd love to see that, even after losing UCLA.
Yeah, that's an example of voters not knowing anything. They didn't even look at the scores. That's a disgrace.
I'm going to go back to the Big East in a second. Oregon, tough loss. Stanford's pretty good, but tough loss for Oregon.
Not a tournament team.
Awful.
Not a tournament team.
Pritchard, Duarte, who was that? Pritchard and somebody else. One of their other top scorers. I don't know if it was Duarte or Mathis. Just terrible this game.
And Foley Dante?
Okay, no. They're good. Auburn, Kentucky, 2 bad teams. Nothing to see there. Okay, the Big East.
Dylan Brooks?
All right. So, you look at the Big East right now. Xavier over Seton Hall. A great job by Seton Hall trying to maximize tournament teams. And according to Jerry Palm, they were successful because he has Xavier as a 9 seed right now. Creighton over Villanova. I've been on Creighton all year. I think they're a really, really solid team.
Yeah, because they beat Michigan. Or because Michigan beat them.
That would be correct. Villanova, it's an even year, so they're going to be good. That's a tough loss, but they're just trying. They locked Creighton into the tournament with that loss. So good job by Villanova and Butler trying to give Providence one last chance to make a stab at the NCAA tournament. Tough loss for Butler at home, but Providence, man, what a game for Juan Pipkins in this game. Great job by Providence, Ed Cooley. Providence, if they win every game but one the rest of the year, or they win a couple games of the Big East tournament or something, they can win. They can make the tournament. So it's a long shot, but it's still on the table for the Friars.
If Providence wins the Big East tournament, they can make the tournament.
That would be right. And I would be surprised if the Big East is a gauntlet. Okay, DePaul. I don't have anything to say about DePaul. Marquette. Good team. Good win against DePaul. And the other game that we haven't really talked about is Georgetown and St. John's. And Georgetown came
we're moving on.
17 down.
We're moving on.
Patrick Carden.
Okay, so.
Mike DeCourcy. Nope. Mike DeCourcy, your guy, has Georgetown in the tournament right now.
Okay. He works for BTN. He's trying to compromise a little bit there. The Big East is not a good conference. I mean,
From the Big East standings?
What about the Big East standings?
the Big East is a joke. Okay, you had 2 top 10 teams both lose to teams that are not good. They are not good basketball teams. The 2 teams they lost to. Except for Creighton's a good team, but you can't lose to Xavier. Xavier can't shoot. Xavier is like the Indiana of the Big East. Only it wasn't at Xavier. It was at He was at Seton Hall. That was embarrassing.
Well, it was a feel-good road game for Xavier.
Yeah, that's just not a thing.
Okay, go ahead. Let's speed this thing up here.
So, overall, it was a pretty okay week in college basketball. The Texas Tech game was weird. Bruce Pearl beating John Calipari again. He's a master beating John Calipari. He did in the tournament last year, didn't he? In the Elite Eight. So he knows how to do it. John Calipari, not a good coach, as we know. Good recruiter, bad coach. Bruce Pearl, I don't know. He just tells his guys to hug up shots and they go in. So good for him. And bad for the Big East because every team in the Big East would finish at the bottom of the barrel in the Big Ten. They would finish 13. I picked Nebraska to win that league, and I'm dead serious. That league is bad. Really bad.
Mike, I am going to get on this podcast next week with sound ready from when you and Luke confirmed that there is no doubt that the Big East is the second best.
That's not saying much at all. That's not saying much at all.
Okay, fine. That's what you said.
And I think the WCC is getting close in terms of talent.
When they get 7 teams in the tournament, we'll see what you're saying.
17, maybe 2 or 3. Let's calm down.
They get eliminated in the first week. It doesn't mean anything.
I could see the Big East being representing all 4 Final Four teams.
The Big East is riding off of Villanova's success. They are riding off of Villanova. I don't know why we don't do it with the WCC. Huh?
They're not even the best team in the conference.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm talking about the success over the past 5 years. That's the only reason why people respect the Big Ten. And it's over. They had their tournament run. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Nobody says the WCC is a great conference just because they have Gonzaga. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right. The Big Four rankings. Well, let's just do the top 10. Clocking in at number 10 is Maryland. West Virginia, number 9. Florida State, 8. Duke, 7. Dayton, 6. Louisville, way too high at 5. San Diego State, Kansas, Gonzaga, Baylor. Reactions?
Okay, good.
Reactions.
All right. Well, you look at these rankings; they're not bad. Very similar to my rankings. Maryland's a good team. I West Virginia a little lower. I had Duke a little bit lower as well. I had San Diego State down at 10, but it's understandable having them up here. Louisville, really good team. I don't really have anything to say about these rankings.
Yeah, I mean, rankings don't mean crap at all. Doesn't really matter to me. I mean, Louisville's too high. San Diego State's too low. I had them at number 1. I think their resume speaks for itself. I think they have a better resume than Baylor. I respect Baylor a lot, but San Diego State's a better team right now. Gonzaga, who have they beaten this year? Texas A&M? I mean, come on. They beat North Carolina.
Alex voted for number 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, they're not as talented as they were last year. Not even close. They're a better shooting team than they were last year, but defensively they struggle a little bit. Which you saw about Michigan putting like 100 on them down in Atlantis. But yeah, anybody else have any things to say on these? All right, let's just skip right to the picks. Chris is sitting on top. He is 3 games ahead of Mike, and he is 5 games ahead of Alex. Luke's 17 games back. Not quite the season he was hoping to have, obviously. Can't watch as much college basketball across the pond. But anyways, first game, Rutgers at Maryland. Rutgers at Maryland.
I'll take Maryland just because they're at home.
And I'm going to take Maryland because they're at home as well.
Yeah, Maryland. Close game. Maryland will probably come out flat because they have Big Bird at head coach, but I think they'll find a way to win. All right. Ohio State at Michigan.
I'll take Michigan because they're at home.
I will also take Michigan because they're at home.
I will take Michigan only because Ohio State, I don't think they have, what's his name? They don't have C.J. Carton. So, DJ Carton, whatever his name is. All right, Auburn at Arkansas.
I'll take Arkansas in this one. I don't think Auburn has much substance behind their record.
Yeah, letdown game for Auburn. Again, playing Kentucky. Arkansas needs this win. They've been struggling a little bit. I'll take Arkansas.
I'm sorry, who has Arkansas lost to?
They lost to the real MSU.
Okay.
Who else? I don't know.
So they're just not. They lost to South Carolina, didn't they? At home?
Maybe.
That's
Yeah, they did.
embarrassing. I'm taking Auburn. All right. Penn State at Michigan State.
Penn State at Michigan State?
Yes.
I'll take Michigan State because Pat Chambers can't win a big game.
Michigan State because they're at home.
Yeah, I agree. I'm feeling a feel-good home game for Michigan State. Give me Michigan State.
That's like an embarrassing win. What is a feel-good home or road game?
Feel-good home game is when, the crowds get into it and you're just making every shot, feeding off the crowd. Role players make shots they never make. Blow teams out that way. Every game we've been having lately is a feel-good home game. All right. Mississippi State at Kentucky, a ridiculous game.
Yeah, I'll take Kentucky. I don't know why this is on here.
I'm going to take Kentucky as well, but I'm surprised if Mississippi State wins this game. Could be a letdown game for Kentucky. Mississippi State's been playing really well.
Kentucky, next game. Okay, Villanova at Butler. Another bad game.
Yeah, who cares?
It's a great game.
I want to pick Villanova, but I'll take Butler just because they're at home.
It's a bounce back game for both teams, but I don't think Villanova loses this game. I'll take Villanova.
What's that place called? Pinkle Fieldhouse?
Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Yeah, well, everybody's been winning there lately. I'm taking Villanova. It's like a reverse home court. Butler plays worse when they play at home. I'm taking Villanova.
Stupid name for an arena.
Pickle Fieldhouse?
Yeah, what a stupid name.
That's back to their Horizon days. They were playing Oakland back then. Iowa at Purdue.
No, I'll take Purdue because according to Mike, it's impossible to win.
That's a great pick.
I'm going to take Iowa. Purdue's not playing well right now. Really didn't play well against Northwestern. I'll take Iowa.
I have a lot of respect for teams like Purdue. They have to grind it out. They don't have the offensive talent that they had last year. They don't have Carson Edwards. They don't have Ryan Klein. They don't even have Grady Eifert. They don't have some of their guys that they really could count on last year. I still think they're going to make the tournament, and I think they're going to blow out Iowa. It's going to be a feel-good home game. It's impossible to win there. I'm taking Purdue. All right, Wisconsin at Minnesota.
I'll take Minnesota. They've been good at home. I don't trust Wisconsin right now.
Yeah, letdown game for Wisconsin. Minnesota's at home. Easy pick. Minnesota in a blowout.
It's an easy place to play. I'm taking Wisconsin. All right, Seton Hall at Georgetown, ridiculous game.
Yeah, who cares? Georgetown's been playing well right now, though. I'll take them.
I swear, I put these on there because Alex picks Georgetown every single time they're on the pick.
No, I just don't like Seton Hall.
Every time Georgetown's on here, they could be playing Baylor. You would pick Georgetown.
I hate the Big East more than anything. What does that mean that I'm freaking biased?
No, you're a big Georgetown guy, Alex. That could be your team from the Big East.
No, I just hate Seton Hall.
No, you're a Georgetown guy.
And it's a road game. You think Kevin Willard shows up to a road game?
Yeah, he showed up all year to road games.
Well, they couldn't even beat Michigan State at home. So what makes you think he's going to show up to a road game?
All right, so let's go through all the road games.
And they just got blown out by Xavier by 12. So
they got blown out by 12. Yeah.
It was like 30-6.
Let's go look. Kevin Willard, big win at Xavier, big win at Butler, big win at St. John.
Okay.
Big win at DePaul. There you go.
Are you trying to incite some arguments here or something?
Oh, that would be yes. I'm picking Seton Hall.
Yeah, give me Seton Hall. Georgetown, whenever you have a former player as a head coach, you got zero chance. You know he's a bad coach. I'm not saying Kevin Willard's a great coach, but he gets his team to the tournament every year. I'm taking Seton Hall. All right, Creighton at Providence. Another pretty bad game.
Who cares? I'll take Creighton because it's basically a home game for Creighton.
This is my last time going with Providence. I've stuck with them all year. Through thick and thin. This is their last chance to have me as a follower and a believer in their team. I'm picking them in this game. If they lose this game, I'm not picking them the rest of the year. I'll pick Providence.
I'm taking Creighton. I like the offensive firepower that they have. All right, Maryland at Illinois. Very interesting game.
Where's the game? Illinois?
Yep.
Yeah, easy pick. Mark Turgeon will be back in Maryland. I'll take Illinois.
I'm going to take Illinois as well because they're at home.
Yeah, I don't think Big Bird will have his team ready. I'm taking Illinois. Okay. Michigan State at Michigan.
This is going to come down to a couple guys besides the obvious. I think it's going to come down to Brandon Johns from Michigan, and it's going to come down to Tillman and guys like Rocket Watts from Michigan State. And I like the way Johns has been playing, so I'll take Michigan and our home.
Yeah, easy pick. Give me Michigan State in the blowout.
Yeah, I was all over Michigan State until you said that. Now I'm kind of questioning my pick here. Listen, I like Michigan State's talent. They can shoot the ball. Michigan can't. Michigan has no big men. They have no guards. They have no coach. They don't even show up for games most of the time. Almost lost to Rutgers at home. Embarrassing. This is a Rutgers team that's 1-5 on the road, and Michigan almost lost to them. That's a joke. I'm taking Michigan State. All right, Kansas at TCU. Wow, what a game. Good week. It's a great week for college basketball.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Kansas here.
Kansas.
Yeah, there are some coaches I just can't pick against. Give me Jamie Dixon and TCU. It doesn't even matter.
You criticize me for putting the game on here, and then you pick the upset. Okay.
Well, when you put TCU on here, I have to pick them because Jamie Dixon, the great Jamie Dixon. Okay, LSU at Auburn.
I like LSU, but I'm actually going to take Auburn in this one.
I refuse to pick Auburn. Give me LSU.
Yeah, give me Bruce Pearl. As much as I love Will Wade, and this is the controversy, the controversial bowl, or whatever the heck you want to call it. Two coaches who have been in hot water, going up against each other. LSU's found a way to be successful. I think that they're a good, solid team, and they find ways to win games. But I think Auburn's going to pull it off after beating a bad Arkansas team.
Better to triple digits for both teams.
All right. Kentucky at Tennessee.
I really like Tennessee, and I think Coach Cal will pull out a road win here. I'll take Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, you go, Chris.
Kentucky. Tennessee having a tough season, despite the great coaching by Rick Barnes.
Despite being 7th in the SEC.
Yeah, Kentucky is so feast and famine on the road. One game they'll beat Texas Tech on the road,
Texas Tech is not a tournament team according to Jerry Palm, so that's not a good win.
Okay, but yeah, one game they'll beat Texas Tech, then they'll lose to South Carolina. They'll beat a decent Arkansas team, then they'll blow it against Auburn in the second half. Based off that cycle, I'm gonna have to take them to win. Seems to be every other game. I'm taking Kentucky. All right, West Virginia at Oklahoma.
I know you guys know I love Lon Kruger, but give me Press Virginia.
West Virginia because the Big 12 sucks.
Okay.
Who's that guy on Oklahoma? The white guy who can shoot, who's been there for 10 years? Brady Manick. The great Brady Manick has been at Oklahoma for 10 years, and he's still a junior. He's coming back next year. I'm taking Oklahoma. All right, Seton Hall at Villanova.
Who cares? But I'll take Gary Wright.
This is a tough one.
Holy.
I'll take Villanova simply because they're at home. These teams will split because
Jerry Wright runs laps around Kevin Willard.
No.
Yes, he does.
These two teams are split. They'll split home and home. But Nova will win this game.
I'm taking Villanova. All right, Minnesota at Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn State, they're at home.
Yeah, listen, Minnesota, they had a good start to Big Ten play. I think they're going to be the one team that's going to be left out of the tournament, out of the Big 12 and the Big 10. I think 11 teams get in. I think they don't. I think they're going to lose to Penn State. Give me Pat Chambers. All right, Purdue at Indiana.
Oh, what a game. Indiana's actually been pretty good at home this year, so I'll take Indiana.
Two bad basketball teams going at it. I'll take Indiana because they're at home.
Yeah, I'll also take Indiana. Although, when was the last time Indiana beat Purdue? I couldn't even tell you. It's been forever. All right. Duke at North Carolina. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, really tough pick here. Wouldn't surprise me if this game was a little closer than you think, but I'll still take Duke because UNC is my top.
Yeah, easy pick here. Give me Carolina. They're at home. Feel good home game for the Tar Heels. They give their fans a glimmer of hope that if they win out, they make the tournament. I'll take Carolina.
Okay, yeah. Give me Duke. All right.
That might be your worst pick of the podcast.
Gonzaga at St. Mary's.
St. Mary's always gives them fits, but they have not been playing definitely up to their potential this year, so I'll take the Zags.
Gonzaga in a blowout.
Give me Jordan Ford and St. Mary's. All right.
Talk about bad picks.
No, that's way more.
What's wrong with St. Mary's?
10 and 11 North Carolina. No.
Oh, did they play earlier in the week? Maybe it would be 11 and 11.
Okay.
They just lost to BC at home.
All right. Oregon at Oregon State.
Oh, this is a big game. I don't like the way Oregon's been trending lately, but where's the game? Corvallis?
Corvallis, that's right.
What a tough environment. Coach Tinkle will have his guys ready. But I'm gonna have Oregon.
Let's see here. I will take Oregon.
Easy one. Give me Oregon State. Better basketball team. Okay, Butler at Marquette.
Off the cow. Once again?
Butler at Marquette. Ridiculous
Who
game.
cares? I'll take Butler because Marquette is just not good. Maybe you're a Butler fan. You pick them all the time, too. They're playing Marquette.
Marquette is in everybody's tournament bracket as a 6 seed, so 6 or 7.
Yeah. I know how much you love Marcus Howard on this podcast.
Yeah. Okay. This might be the toughest pick of the week. I really don't think Butler's going to lose twice this week, but I can't pick against Marquette at home. Actually, no, this is a big game. Marcus Howard probably will for this game in Butler.
You're the one who said he got over the hump.
Okay, I'm still taking Butler because I can't see him losing twice this week.
I'm taking Marquette. Ohio State at Wisconsin.
Win this week. Where's the game? Wisconsin?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take Wisconsin. I don't think Ohio State's going to win on the road.
Give me the Buckeyes. The after effects. The effects will finally set in of Kobe King leading the team. I will take Ohio State.
Yeah, give me Bucky Badger. Give me Micah Potter. Give me the team that beat Michigan State. I'm taking Wisconsin. All right, so that's going to do it for our first episode of the Big Four podcast here on Sporkle. Appreciate the support. We are trending worldwide. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next time.